The ACDP in the Western Cape objecting to a halal certification being a requirement for catering tenders at Khayelitsha Hospital. It claims in a statement it enforces religion and unfairly excludes businesses. They argue that the state should stick to neutral food preparation standards instead of a religious certification. Ferlon Christians, Western Cape leader of the ACDP. What's your problem with kosher food?
No, good morning. No, the problem is we will always have a problem when it comes to. We feel this is a way of discrimination against non-halal people. Let me just give you a couple of things.
Well, my question: you have an issue with halal food, but you don't appear to have an issue with kosher food. What is your issue?
No. So let me answer that. This halal certificate that they want to have at Khayelitsha is a blanket cover. It's blanket. Kosher will be for specific people, Jewish people, whoever will get that kosher, and other people have a right to have other food. Here, this is a blanket cover that service providers must have a halal certificate, so it means everybody's affected. That's the difference between the two.
Do you seriously think that a certification stamp on chicken is enforcing religion?
Let me tell you, you know, if you grew up in Cape Town, you know how it works. When you get a certification on chicken or meat or whatever, it doesn't stop there. You must apply for that certification. You must pay as a business a yearly certification fees. There's a lot of things that goes with that, and of course, you can only deal with halal businesses. There's a lot of things going into this. So it's not just having chicken certified, it's what goes with it. You apply for a license, you must have an audit fee 3 years, you must have every year, you must have a certification fees. So there's a lot to do with it. It's just not about certification.
Do you have a problem with Sally Williams nougat or Beacon Sweets or Cadbury's chocolate or Simba chips or Lay's and Doritos, Parmalat cheese and yogurts, Clover, Flora and Stark, Cerebros, salt, snowflake flour and baking premixes, all certified halal?
Yeah, you see what I'm saying. So that's exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying all of those things that you mentioned are certified halal, and all of that must go through a certification process. So I have a problem when things are, the ACDP has got a problem when things are blanket, and we're specifically talking about now when you're in a state institution, people in Khayelitsha, where 90% is Christian in Khayelitsha, you're now enforcing something upon them. They don't have a choice. You don't have a choice landing up in hospital. You land up in a state hospital, and you are subjected to eat the food what they provide. And now they tell the suppliers, listen, if you are not halal certified, you cannot do business with us. I think it's unfair.
So you should have an issue in a secular country enforcing religious standards on people.
Definitely. I mean, there's an argument.
Christmas Day is an enforced religious holiday in the Christian tradition in South Africa. Good Friday is an enforced Christian holiday in secular South Africa. Was a Christian holiday. Other religious beliefs have to adhere to Christian religious days in our secular constitution. Isn't that a little bit hypocritical?
Lester, let me say, I just said in Khayelitsha we have 90% Christians. In the country, we believe we've got about 80% Christians. Now, maybe you don't know, let me just tell you, if you are a Muslim and you want days off, you can exchange your days. There's nothing wrong with you taking a day off for religion purposes. Muslims on Fridays take time off. There's no hypocritical measure here, because when you have 80%, it doesn't prohibit Muslims of having a labarang or whatever, eat. There's no problem having that. Here we're talking about a blanket cover. You are forced to eat, thinking something that certifies forced upon you.
Is there any intrinsic nourishment difference between something that is that is certified halal, and I'll again stress kosher, because you're not raising really you're the opposition to kosher symbols on the various products that I mentioned. Ferlon, is there a particular difference in the nourishment that a sick and alien person in hospital would receive?
Yeah, let me just say, I did say, when I speak to kosher, I said a small percentage of people use kosher. That's not forced upon people going into a hospital, a state hospital. It's not forced upon you. This is forced. So let me just say, when it comes to halal is permissible in the law, lawful in Islam. It's meat that holds immense significance in Islam. You know, there's a lot of things that I can say about it, but when a thing is forbidden, it's not allowed. It's forbidden. It's haram. You don't use that. And I'm saying the argument that I'm bringing and the ACDP is bringing to the table, there is no choice for me when I land up in Khayelitsha Hospital to say, but I want. Just take, for example, I want some pork, because pork will never be allowed. I want some pork, pork sausage, or that is taken from the menu. So what I'm saying, what we are disputing is to say you must have a halal certificate in order to do business with Khayelitsha.
Can I just be quite honest with you, Ferlon? I also have access to the internet. I have heard these exact same talking points as much as 6 months ago on a GBTV, a right-wing broadcaster in the UK. If you were to listen to enough commentators on Fox News in the US 6 months ago, I've heard these exact talking points. You're trying to be part, or trying to stoke part of a culture war in South Africa, aren't you?
No, you all my sources that I get is because of living in a Cape Town where I know what is what, and I know what is right, and I know what is wrong. So it's about.
And none of those sources are halal, Ferlon.
No. What I'm telling
Check your
you,
all-gold. There's an halal symbol. There's a halal certification in the back of your all-gold tomato sauce.
Look, like I say, you're not saying all of that. And sometimes the person, when you go to the shop, and a lot of the halal certification is displayed on various things. And you must be very selective if you don't want that, because almost, like you say, you're all gold and all that. But the point, Lester, that I want to draw in this morning is, don't force me when I lay in a state hospital, or am I a Christian business and do not want my stuff certified. Don't force me to pay a fee, an annual certification fee. Every three years I must pay an audit fee.
Non-Christian businesses are forced to close because the markets close, because the South African Constitution allows a Christian-based holiday. Don't you see the hypocrisy there, Ferlon? We have double separate standards for Christians to celebrate their days, their religious practice in a secular constitution. You don't seem to want the same on the other side.
Listen, there's no shop that's closed on a Sunday. There's shops that's not closed on Christmas. There's shops that are closed. It's all open. If you go, you can buy. In the old days, shops were closed on Christmas. People even work on Christmas. So that is not an argument, Lester. Definitely not.
Ferlon Christians, appreciate your time. Western Cape leader of the ACDP loves his sources.